to the Dark Truth YouTube channel. Please like, comment, and hit that bell notification.
Tonight, Toni Sharpless was a nurse from Chester County who was last seen leaving a party in Lower Merion and disappeared without a trace. Her case has baffled investigators ever since. Joe Holden reveals the clues left behind and why there is hope that this cold case can still be solved.
At this point, I just need to know.
August 22nd, 2009, Toni Sharpless, a 29-year-old single mother, went out with a friend for what was supposed to be a night of fun.
She said that night to me and my husband, "Do you guys mind if I go out? Can Dahlia stay here? I haven't been out in 2 years."
August 23rd, Sharpless was reported missing.
DNA forms. You live and your whole thing is in just one file.
For her to call that many times made me feel like something was wrong, so I called her as soon as I woke up that morning.
That was one of the original pictures I was given.
Sharpless was with her friend Crystal Johns. According to police, the two left a nightclub in Philadelphia and went to a house party here on Beaubarn Drive in Gladwine. Police say there was a disagreement and the two were asked to leave.
According to Crystal, Toni kind of went out of control.
Then Crystal and Toni got into a disagreement of their own.
Toni got into an argument with Miss Johns, and Miss Johns was then thrown out of the vehicle.
Police say that's the last time Sharpless was seen.
My granddaughter came into my bedroom around 4 o'clock and she said, "I can't sleep. Mommy texted me, she'll be home soon."
And that's the last time anyone heard from her.
And said, "Your mom's missing, hon, but we'll find her." And she started crying. And I said, "Don't worry, we'll find her."
The next day, Toni's sister and friends searched by themselves, but they couldn't find her.
And by nighttime, when we heard nothing, then at that point I went to the West Brandywine Township Police Department and filed a missing persons report.
The police subpoenaed her credit records, her bank statements, her phone statements, and pinged her cell phone.
We did find out that the phone stopped working or was turned off soon after she had dropped Miss Johns off.
Police say there was money left in Sharpless's bank account when she went missing. Her family says that's a sign she didn't take off on her own free will.
These are all the hits that I've gone through and verified that they're not Toni Sharpless.
Police say for several weeks there were multiple sightings of Toni. One of her license plates.
It's pretty thick. A couple of sightings were in Montgomery County. A couple of sightings were in Philadelphia. We had what was called an automatic license plate reader read numerics of her license plate in Camden.
The biggest cluster has been in Camden.
On August 22nd, 2009, Toni Sharpless left her home around 9:30 p.m. for a night on the town in Center City, Philadelphia, with her friend Crystal Johns. After she left, Peter Noble, her stepfather, expressed his reservations about the outing to his wife. Sharpless and John had only recently renewed their friendship after becoming estranged from each other for about 10 years. Noble believed that evening's trip to Center City had been John's idea and that his stepdaughter, who typically devoted her free time to her daughter, had rarely went to nightclubs or bars or into Philadelphia at all, only went because John had persuaded her to. But they also recognized that Sharpless had been working hard for a long time and had not had an evening out for a while. Unable to sleep that night, Toni's daughter texted her around 2:57 a.m. The two women left in Sharpless's car, a black 2002 Pontiac Grand Prix sedan. After stopping at John's house in West Fallowfield Township, they went to Ice, a nightclub in King of Prussia, then to Center City's G Lounge nightclub. From there, they went to a small gathering at the home of Willie Green, a professional basketball player with the NBA Philadelphia 76ers, in Penn Valley, a neighborhood in Lower Merion Township, one of the city's affluent mainline suburbs. Accounts differ as to whether Johns, who was reportedly friends with Green's brother, had been invited there before she and Sharpless left for the evening, or whether Green met the two at G Lounge and invited them back to his home. At Green's, Sharpless and Johns began drinking along with other guests at what has been characterized as a small gathering more than a party. The group was playing the board game Taboo, during which Sharpless reportedly made a remark to John that Green took as including an ethnic slur, although it was not the way she intended it. Green made it known that he was offended, and Sharpless, who was already felt that other guests were ridiculing her, became angry and erratic. Around 5 a.m., she reportedly dumped a bottle of champagne on the kitchen floor and began kicking things. Green went to Johns, who was retreated at the house swimming pool, and told her that it was time for her and her friend to go home. The pair gathered their possessions and left the house. Johns, aware that she had had less to drink, attempted to take the car keys, but Sharpless immediately took them back. She was still angry and crying, accusing John of also making fun of her. A man called out from the house, jokingly warning them to be careful not to hit anyone's car. Once they were back in Sharpless' Pontiac, Johns, who later told police that neither of them were sober enough to legally drive, asked Sharpless whether she should really be driving in her condition, given her previous drink and driving conviction. She had also, at that point, been awake for 36 hours straight. Her response was to stop immediately and tell Johns to get the fuck out of the car, which Johns did, and then Sharpless drove off. No one has seen her since. Johns expected at first that her friend would soon calm down, reconsider her actions, and then return to her. When that did not happen, within a few minutes, she called Sharpless. The call went to voicemail. John was still too embarrassed by the circumstances of their departure from Green's house to walk the 500 feet back there and seek help. So after waiting a little while longer, she called her nephew for a ride home. Later that morning, Johns called Candy Sharpless, Toni's sister, to complain that Toni had abandoned her and said she would come around later to return some items that Toni had left at her house. Candy told her that Toni had not returned, whereupon Johns called the police. Candy later filed a missing persons report. Toni's friends and family made and distributed flyers, while the Lower Merion Township Police put out bulletins for her car. Speculation at first focused on the possibility that the intoxicated, sleep-deprived Sharpless had driven down a boat ramp by mistake and ended up in the nearby Schuylkill River. A Texas firm hired to search the river using side-scan sonar found 12 vehicles, 9 of which had been reported stolen and 3 that were untraceable since the vehicles' identification numbers had been removed. None were the Grand Prix. In September, 2 weeks after Sharpless's disappearance, an automatic license plate reader in Camden, New Jersey, just across the Delaware River from Philadelphia, recorded a hit on Sharpless's car's license plate number. The Camden police did not notify Lower Merion until a few days afterwards. An effort to relocate the vehicle in Camden or nearby were unsuccessful. In late October, police records show they worked their last lead, although the case remains open. In December of 2012, Eileen Law, a private investigator hired by the family, received a letter handwritten on a yellow legal-size paper, purportedly from a Toni Sharpless, marked November 29th of that year in Trenton, New Jersey. The writer said that they had tried to give their information to the Philadelphia police, but had been told the case was not in their jurisdiction. An officer there had taken them aside and given them Law's address. The writer, who claimed they had been contacted by a friend near the end of September 2009 and offered $5,000 in cash to take the Grand Prix, then in Brooklawn, New Jersey, near Camden, to shop in Boston. If they completed that trip, the writer said they were told they could also have the vehicle's license plates. Additionally, they were asked if they knew anyone in their late 20s who wanted a paper trip, which Law says refers to an attempt to create a new identity and would be a term used only by police or criminals, and was offered a social security card to give to such a person. Since the writer needed the money, they had taken the job and delivered the car to Boston the next day. When they delivered it, they not only took the license plate, but also cleared out the glove compartment and compiled that they had found Sharpless's cell phone. They also wrote down the car's vehicle identification number. Upon their return to Camden, the friend had gave them more information about the car and why they had to take it to the chop shop out of state. It was not stolen, they said, but missing. A friend of a friend was a Camden police officer, and he had gotten into a fight with a girl. She died, and he needed to get the car out of Jersey. The writer did not, they stressed, have first-hand knowledge that this was Sharpless or what exactly happened. In an interview, Law said the details provided in the letter were eerily accurate, including Toni's cell phone number and the last 5 digits of her car's vehicle identification number, which were never made public. Despite the skepticism, I continue to investigate every lead and work tirelessly to bring Toni home, says Law. Although it's been 14 years since Toni's disappearance, her family and friends have been tirelessly distributing flyers hoping for any leads. Eileen Law's investigation and the coverage of Toni's case on the investigative Discovery Channel series Disappeared have shed further light on the mystery surrounding her disappearance. So please let me know in the comment section what you guys think happened to Toni Sharpless. Leave some prayer hands and hashtag Where is Toni Sharpless? Thank you. See you guys soon.